Over the weekend, I got to catch up with Israeli musician Noga Erez. She was in Istanbul as part of a worldwide concert tour. And I began our conversation by asking about her musical roots and how jazz laid the foundation for her more popular sound.
I always feel like whenever I'm asked this question, I want to say Flying Lotus, who is an artist, a producer from California, I think Los Angeles. He's a relative of John Coltrane, so he has heavy jazz influences in his music, but he's a beat maker. And he made the transition for me from jazz to hip hop. And then hip hop and pop kind of like all together. But yeah, I think that would kind of be where I made the transition.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Okay, well, I want to talk about, as I said, the power of pop music, because pop music is usually seen as an escapist way to have fun. Mm. Would you agree with that sort of a definition of pop music?
I'm always finding it hard to talk about music genres, especially when it comes to pop, because pop is not, it's such a wide way to describe music. Also, trying to describe art and specifically music in words, I'm sure that for you it's a huge challenge. I mean, trying to explain those things that are so that don't have such a form into words. So when we say pop, I don't know if we mean a genre rather than something that is popular and meant to be played for the masses. But for me, pop music, no, it shouldn't just be entertaining. It should just be something that can resonate with many people.
What should it be then?
It should be something that many people could actually relate to and have kind of the feeling of something changing in them. So I think that when you create something that many people could resonate with, it could be considered pop.
So you believe in the transformative power of pop music?
Yes, definitely. I don't know to what level. I mean, especially when we talk about things like helping people become more informed about different subjects or politics, or the power of music being a tool for protest. It's always a question that I ask myself: did protest music ever actually succeed in making a change, like in a proper, in the real world? And in the real world, I don't think that maybe it's your expertise, but I don't think that we can see proper evidence to it, changing something. But I do feel like music, I am a true believer of the power of music in changing something more emotional and something on the inside, on an individual level. So I think that if changes are occurring first and foremost from within, then music should have the power to make transformative change. Mm-hmm.
You said before that your music is a way for you to process the issues that bother you about the world. Mm-hmm. In that sense, how do you think, what kind of a function does your music have for listeners, or what you would wish for it to have for listeners?
It's a weird one because really I think that my privilege in, with the fact that I'm a musician is that things could happen around me, personally, globally, things that are dear to my heart, and I can go to the studio and process it through music. I call it privilege because not many people get to process their emotions about things as a way to make a living, but this is what I do. And then the big question is, like for me, it's a way to process the world. Is it the same way for the listener eventually? I'm not sure. I don't even know. I don't know if for most people that is what it is. I think that for most people, probably the first level of enjoying music is on an entertainment-based kind of experience. And I love that. I love the fact that you can fill a room with people, that I can sing songs about things that are, emotional and very charged, topics. It can be very dark, but you can have people jumping around and dancing and having fun. I think those two things are contradicting in the real world, but when it comes to art, they are one of the same, and they can exist in the same space.
Mm-hmm. And as a pop artist, I'd like to say, but please correct
That's
me if
okay.
you think I'm wrong.
I love pop.
Okay, as a pop artist coming from Tel Aviv, Israel, do you like talking about the Israel-Palestine divide, or how do you feel about it?
I don't like talking about it. I don't like that it exists. So, I mean, I feel like being an artist from Israel comes with a certain amount of, you know, a burden that you have to carry. I think that artists come from many places in the world that has conflicts, where governments are doing things that for people are, you know, something that should have commentary on. But when it comes to Israeli artists, we are kind of more, you know, called to talk about Israel. I'm asked about Israel a lot. So I think that when it comes to that, I always feel like I wish I was just from, you know, from somewhere else, and that people could just listen to my music regardless of where I come from. At the same time, you know, this is a part of who I am, my identity, what I write about, and so I feel like I'm not at all bitter about it. I feel like it's a part of my story, and I'm not going to try to escape it.
You said that you believe in the transformative power of pop music, and you also are saying that being a musician from Israel is sometimes a burden on your shoulders. Mm-hmm. In that sense, do you feel any responsibility as an artist to bring these issues to the forefront, which sometimes you do?
No, it's not a responsibility, and that is why I want to make it very clear and accurate. I feel like the transformative force of pop music is to change someone from within. It's not to actually create change in the real world. And that is why, even if I thought that I had a responsibility, I don't feel like I actually do. I do feel like, in a sense, it's just, you know, one of those things where a situation so complex should be addressed in a way that is way deeper, broader, and way more informed than what I have. I can address it through art, but it will just be art. So it will never have that weight of something that could actually, you know, influence anything.
In the light of what you've just said and you know how you've described your vision, I think I want to touch upon Dance While You Shoot, which is one of probably your most political works, or politically informed, let's say, works. Can you tell us how that came into being, and you shooting the video clip in Ukraine, I believe, before the recent events?
Yeah.
Tell us about that, please.
Well, we shot the video in 2017. It was way before the recent events, but events have been happening in Ukraine for years. The reason that we shot it there had nothing to do with, you know, even trying to think about a similarity between the situation that we have and that they have. It has nothing to do with it. It was just technical and boring. Dance While You Shoot is basically, you know, it asks the question to, you know, on a global level. It asks people question, no matter where they're from. Are you able to continue dancing as a way to say, are you able to continue to enjoy your privileged life while knowing that other people don't experience the same kind of life, and sometimes even they pay the price to enable you to have your privileged life. So it's not about specifically about Israel or Ukraine or wherever. It's you know, it's a song that's meant to ask the question, you know, like, do you ever ask yourself that? I buy something to wear. Where did it come from? It's an invitation for people to ask themselves, you know, questions about the things that we find to be so clear and obvious.
Is this something you think about a lot?
Yeah, I mean, I think about those things, especially when my mind is not very occupied with personal issues, you know, and it's also something that I tend to think about, like when your life is very stormy when it comes to your personal relationships or or you have your own like issues, you don't really get to be that available to think about global things. I also kind of feel like thinking about global issues is a privileged standpoint. So I think about that too. So yeah, I get the time and the space to think about where that bottle of water over there is coming from.
All right, I wonder where you see yourself in your journey. I mean, what have you accomplished? How does it make you feel, and where do you think you're going?
I'm in a journey to continue and find, the music that I can make that is the best music that I can make. I search for it on a daily basis. I do it together with my partner in life and music, Ori, and it's an ongoing conversation. How do we perfect it? How do we make something that is more accessible, that can actually communicate something? And I feel like this is a very slow, gradual, baby steps type of journey, and that this is exactly the right way for me. Building it very, very gradually until, who knows.
And what are you working on right now?
We're working on what would hopefully be an album. It's a very, very, very early stages, but we are releasing a new song end of this month. It's a song called Nails. It's a song about jealousy. This whole album is about, it's more about, those personal issues, the type of things that we all experience, no matter where we're from.
All right. Well, thank you so much for your time. It was a pleasure talking to you.
Thank you so much.